Welcome, wonderful people, to the Sunday rune and card reading. Guys, welcome back to those of you who are already a part of our wonderful community. And yeah, the second reading of 2020. I don't know how many of you were able to connect into the full moon eclipse in Cancer on Friday. But wow, guys, or what the weather was like, because of course, geographically, the weather will be different wherever we each are. This reading is quite influenced by that full moon eclipse because, or these readings, I watched the moon rise, and not only was she absolutely huge on the horizon, but she was the exact colour of rose quartz. Just one of the most stunning moon rises that I have ever witnessed. I was up a couple of times during the night, and the aura around her was extraordinary. Early on, I saw the most extraordinary cloud formation creating a circle around her. And then later on, I got up again. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning in the UK time. And the aura around her, the clouds had moved in, but they almost created like a rainbow colour radiating out from her. Just quite extraordinary. And when I got up in the morning, she was just setting as the sun was rising. So an incredibly powerful night. Each of these crystals, this rose quartz angel, this rose quartz wand, and a piece of natural rose quartz, and the heart that's sitting here, all of these crystals were actually out for the duration of the night, from the time that she rose to the time that she set, absorbing that energy. And I knew the moment I saw the moon rise in that colour that this reading would be guided by the rose quartz energy of love. So, as I said, welcome back to anyone who's already a part of this community. And for anyone new to my readings, I'm Jenny Florence. I put a lot of free resources into the world. I offer a free private reading to one of my subscribers. I draw names out of a hat at the end of every month. And it has been my intention also to draw names out of a hat and offer some packs of the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards at the end of this month, because they were being launched. I need to let you guys know there is a possible it's a possible hiccup in the production. Basically, the cards are fantastic, but there has been, the printers that I was using have changed some part of their system in the booklet, and I'm not happy with the quality of it, and I would rather wait, and it would be wonderful to launch them in January as planned, but I would honestly rather wait and launch them when I know that we've navigated those issues and that everything is exactly as perfect as it should be. They will be a first print, a limited edition print, the first run of them as well. What I will try and do in the week is set up some sort of a landing page where anyone that's interested, because quite a few people have been emailing me about them, where maybe it's possible either to reserve a copy of that first limited edition run. But watch this space. I will notify you in the week. I'll do a little video just to update you and let you know what's happening, and see if I can create an opportunity for that, for the reservation of a copy of them if you wish. Guys, I would just say as well as subscribing, you need to press the little bell icon. Again, a couple of people have contacted me and said, why aren't I receiving any notifications of things when you upload them? Because I am subscribed. It's because you need to press the little bell icon as well, and that way YouTube will then inform you as soon as I upload, any of the readings or any updates in the meantime. So, welcome, wonderful, wonderful people. We have the energy of rose quartz, of love, governing every single one of these readings. So, as always, we have reading 1, reading 2, and reading 3. I would invite you to sit, maybe pause the video, just see which reading is calling to you. It might be more than one. Each one, I never know, of course, until we turn everything over. I've shuffled the cards and split them, and I always cut the pack, shuffle, cut, and just lay them out. So, but it always fascinates me that whatever energy we're using, whatever energy I've been drawn to or I've been called to use, the readings are always a reflection of that energy. They're always attuned. So it will be interesting. We have, as I said, the angel, very much a governance of that purity of divine guidance. The energy of the wand, again, rose quartz, but nevertheless, a rose quartz wand maybe will have more direction in it. I don't know, we'll wait and see. And the raw energy of rose quartz, there is a real purity in that. So sit with the readings, see which one you are called to. Sometimes people are drawn to more than one, and as always, I will put this into the playlist on the homepage of the YouTube channel, the A to Z of Emotional Health YouTube channel. So you'll be able to find the playlists and come back to this reading or any of the other pick a card readings if you're feeling as though you need some kind of guidance, some kind of support in the immediacy of any particular moment. You should be able to find yourself drawn to a pick a card reading with an option of 3 readings, occasionally 4 in some of them as well. So guys, namaste. Thank you beyond measure from the bottom of my heart for your support, for your love, not only of me, but of one another. I have been connecting in with as many comments as I can. And guys, the way you are supporting one another, you just blow me away. I mean, really, you are absolutely awesome. So big respect to you all. So much love to you all. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 1. Our first rune is the rune of openings. Make sure that's still in camera. Yes, it is. Renewed clarity. Out of darkness into light. I love the energy of this rune because for me it brings real direction. It's kind of not just about setting intentions, it's about putting those intentions into action. For me, there's an energy of doing around it as well. Clear intention, keep your eyes focused on your targeted intention, but actually take action as well. Our second rune, the rune of wholeness, the path you must follow. This is a lovely combination here because this speaks of life force being available to you, source energy being available to you. So not only do we have the energy of clear intentions, renewed clarity, renewed direction, concentration, it's about following the pathway that is absolutely right for you, the very essence of who you are, your individuality. It speaks of regeneration as well, and also of the fact that sometimes not everyone will understand the pathway you are on, but it is the pathway that you must follow. There's something deeply personal about the energy and direction of this rune, particularly when it sits with the rune of opening. We then have the rune of defense. This is interesting. The rune of defense says that we develop an aversion to the almost like the resonance of people who are not in tune with the position that we are in, which is interesting because the rune of wholeness also speaks of an awareness that not everybody will be in the same zone as you, not everybody will get where you are, but it should not slow you down or stop you from holding your own pathway. Perseverance, this rune calls for perseverance rather, and also it speaks of, again, it's staying on your own pathway. It speaks of sometimes the difficulties that we have to overcome at the beginning of a new life, but this is renewed clarity. It's knowing your direction. I almost feel it's interesting, and we'll see what the cards bring, but with this angel, I feel as though you guys you're in receipt of divine guidance or a deep level of intuition. Something is clear to you, but it isn't necessarily clear to those around you. But you are invited to really stay true to your own pathway. It's a bit like, when we fall in love with someone, it's like those traditional love stories where a couple fall in love and their families oppose the union, even though it's quite obvious that these two people were really meant for each other. But somehow circumstances outside them, there were different expectations from other sources. It's got that flavour about it. So let's draw our cards. So, first of all, we have Saturn return, age, Black Moon Lilith, mystery, Neptune, sacrifice. This is interesting because it would suggest that you are leaving something behind. Now, it may be that you are leaving someone behind or a system behind, but one way or the other, this is the path you must follow. Saturn return is a wonderful card to my mind because it suggests that you have arrived at a space where you are able to review your situation with absolute clarity. You know where you are. But the interesting thing is there's an element of, I don't want to say secrecy around it, but sometimes when we are reviewing our own life circumstances, again, we can't always share that level of awareness easily because not everyone's going to get it. Some people will be very fixed on the path that it's their own viewpoint, it's their own perspective of what you should or shouldn't be doing. And I think the giving something up is about moving away from some aspect of compliance and aligning with your own calling, aligning with spirit, whatever aspect of your life that is about. Now, this is interesting because we also have the card of collaborate. Sometimes we are called to develop our self-sufficiency. And this can be a valuable road to travel in the discovery of our unique and individual gifts. But this is not the same as trying to do everything yourself all of the time. This is not a time to go it alone. It is a time to unite and work with others. Now, this is an interesting card because I'm hearing quite a clear message coming through. I think in order to try and become yourself, to understand yourselves, your own unique pathway, I think there's been some aspect of what I would call withdrawal or retreat. It's like in order to follow your pathway, you've needed to align yourself with yourself. That's great, but it's also time to reach out, but you also need to reach out and be discerning in terms of the people you reach out to. Again, co-create with spirit, trust your pathway. Now, we have a lovely set of cards here. Now, these often, for me, describe the kind of energy of the dynamics of the people that are around you. And guys, I should also say, in terms of all the cards I use and the runes, for anyone who's new to my readings, in the information box below, as well as the resources that I put into the world, I have also there's a page on my website now which is dedicated to any books that I make reference to, and every single pack of cards that I use is on that page. So if there are any that you are called to yourself and would like to use, you'll be able to find links and access them really easily. As I said, it's in the information box below. Let me just move our runes down. This is interesting. So we have the Two of Air. There is a duality, a conflict, I think, of opinion. There's more than one choice, more than one opportunity. Quite interesting because if we think of the card of destiny, which is about seeking answers, it's following your own personal destiny, it's looking for your own pathway, finding your own direction, why you came here. And the body-mind card speaks of keeping an open mind and also of being discerning, noticing how your thoughts affect you, how they affect your physical well-being. It's like listening to the signs that your body gives you. Your emotions are held in your body. Emotions are kind of live all the time, and sometimes we listen to our mind, but we fail to listen to, it's almost like the body language. We notice it sometimes in others, but we don't listen to our own body language. You're being called here to really tune into your own pathway. You don't have to share it with everybody. There is a time to collaborate, which is interesting, but you're having to reevaluate something. And the invitation here is to make sure that you are listening to your pathway and not necessarily the opinions of others. Whilst there may be a need to collaborate, you need to be be centered in your own pathway before you move things forwards. Again, this renewed clarity. It's almost as though you're the director, you're the leader. So our tarot cards, Ten of Pentacles, this isn't the suggestion of an ongoing phase of contentment, of prosperity. And again, the Nine, it's like something in your life is moving forwards. I'm going to say I think there is some envy around you. And actually, that's also the message I'm hearing in terms of if it feels as though someone's trying to get you to walk down their pathway, I want to suggest, albeit potentially unconsciously, I think they have an ulterior motive of their own. Sometimes when people are envious, it's not necessarily that they're setting out to sabotage your horizons. It's just that if you're changing your world and you're moving forwards and you're expanding and you're growing and they are starting to see the signs of your prosperity, there is a fear that somehow they'll get left behind. And in a way, you've reached this stage in your life. This is the Saturn return. I mean, astrologically, our Saturn returns come to us around the age of 29-30 and between the ages of about 58 to 60. They are pivotal moments of evaluation. And if everything is going well in our world and we've been following a good pathway, the right pathway for us, it means that we start to consolidate. These wonderful 10 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles. We start to consolidate, and the next chapter of life is built on the solid foundation of the work that we have put in. But actually, as I said, sometimes the Page of Swords for me, it's always that gossipy, sort of like backstabbing, sort of slightly underhanded putting down, the subtle putting down of achievements. The Ten of Wands is interesting here. It plays its part in the collaboration card because the Ten of Wands suggests that maybe you have taken on quite a lot. You've set your benchmark high. You've had high ambitions. And I want to say, great and big respect to you. But there has come a time when I think things are expanding. You've built a platform and you're needing to expand further through collaboration, but you are being called to be really discerning about who you engage. Remember the Rune of Defense, we develop an aversion to people and to attitudes that don't resonate with us. Be really clear about your own resonance. Hold your vision, hold your goals, hold your existing achievements in mind. Celebrate your existing achievements. I mean, there's a real acknowledgement of how far you've come, but please use your discernment in who you collaborate with to continue your growth. There is a need to collaborate because I think what you've been building has become sufficiently big it needs to be shared. That's what I also hear. There's something about sharing, spreading your wealth. And by wealth, that could mean knowledge, it could mean material stuff, but it could also mean your inner wealth, your inner knowledge, your inner awareness. But one way or the other, you need a vehicle to manifest the next stage of growth, and that will involve some form of collaboration, working with others, but you are most definitely called to be discerning about who you collaborate with. There's almost a little energy of just be careful. Not everybody is who they seem to be. Some people are envious of your success, and I think they will try to, as I said, perhaps albeit unconsciously, there'll be some need within them that would like to hold you back a little bit. Don't allow that to happen. If you have to distance yourself from them a little bit, that's part of the sacrifice, it's part of the letting go of something. But you understand your own growth. This is where you're at. You have worked to be here. Your intuition, learning to listen to yourself in every possible way, not only your mind, not only the logical way forwards, but also body language, your own and that of others. You're on the right pathway. This is your destiny. This is a lovely card along with the Rune of Wholeness. This is a real rubber stamping of the journey, and you've definitely reached a stage where you can review and consolidate the learning that you have embraced up until now, but decisions are around you. There is a little bit of conflict around you, but it's not a challenging conflict as such. It's more that there are choices. And as I said, this is about developing an aversion to the things or the people or the circumstances that don't resonate. That's actually really good information. When we experience someone or something that doesn't resonate with us, it's curious because that can leave us feeling disappointed, and it means that we withdraw and feel like we have to be self-sufficient. Actually, we don't. We just have to develop our discernment, and that allows us to then be actively co-creative, following your own pathway, working with the divine, and asking and trusting that the right people to collaborate with will be coming into your world. I want to say, wow, guys, this is an awesome reading in terms of energy that you are ready to emanate, spread, share into the world. You have a gift. You have something that it's time you radiated it into the world. And there is an invitation in this reading to do so with awareness, as I said, of those around you who may wish to hold you back. Love them. Send them love, appreciate the learning they've brought you, and move along to connect with people who resonate with you. You know your direction. Hold fast on that, persevere. Just trust and listen, but listen with all that you are. Namaste, and so much love to you guys. Welcome to reading number 2. Our first rune is the blank rune, the rune of infinite possibilities. This is the end, it's the beginning, it's a period of gestation, of growth. It represents, interestingly enough, something of our own connection to our destiny sometimes as well, but it is full of possibilities. It can also raise aspects of anxiety, because I think we worry when we step into the unknown, or we're in a place where we don't quite know what the next step is or how something's going to emerge. But this rune calls for just trust, complete trust. It asks you to trust. Followed by the rune of growth. Wonderful, wonderful energy here. The rune of growth, Berkana, symbolised by the birch tree. This is a rune of blossoming, of ripening, of new beginnings. It asks you to be consistent, because it's not suggesting growth that comes immediately. It's suggesting growth that comes through the gentle, persistent generation of something new. It asks you, I'm actually hearing a message which is asking you to be persistent and to be motivated in a very consistent way. So remain steady on your course. That's what I'm actually hearing. Then we have the rune of fertility. This is lovely. Infinite possibilities, the source of the infinite source of possibilities that sit in the unknowable future. I mean, it's wow time, I always think, for me. Yes, it comes with a wobble sometimes. The rune of growth and then the rune of fertility. I mean, wow, guys, this is new beginnings. The rune of fertility also calls for the completion of beginnings. It's like you've either started something and you're needing to complete that beginning, you're needing to see something through. It also brings the strength to come through the initial phase of something in order to set it onto solid ground. So there may be some wobble around you, but there's so much promise here in terms of, maintaining your course, staying on focus. So let's look at our cards here. I'm just going to draw them all out and see what we start with. Second house, owning. This is interesting. This is all about ownership, your own sense of entitlement. That's what I'm really hearing. Grand Cross, Provoker, and Capricorn, I use. This is a very powerful combination of cards, guys. Followed by Trust in Divine Detours. I am loving this, this part of the reading. We'll lay all our cards out, of course. Second house, owning. take an ownership of your desires, take an ownership of the possibilities that you wish to create. Provoker. I feel as though something's going to happen that will cause you to be able to put something in motion. Either that or something already has happened to cause you to put something in motion. And you are asked again not to wobble. And if it seems as though there's a detour, you are being called to trust that that detour is purposeful. It has meaning. There is... the detour is giving you, it has a purpose. That's probably the best way I can describe a nurture. Lovely energy here. Whatever it is, whatever space you're in, whatever it is you've started. Very interesting, because the energy of the wand is very much about having a direction. So whatever you've started, it's going to need nurturing. Whenever we sow seeds, however much we yearn to see them grow, we cannot force them to develop any quicker than nature will allow. But we can provide them with the best possible conditions to grow. Whatever you have initiated in your life, this card is here to encourage you. Be patient and nurture your relationship, idea, project with love. Very lovely energy. So, let's look at these first. Okay, so we have the Ace of Water. Wonderful, new love, new emotions, new beginnings, particularly new love actually, new relationships. We then have the Four of Fire. You are being asked to, it's like maintain your aim. Be deliberate in your actions. Create your own momentum through walking a clear pathway. Yeah, follow right action. We then have the Seven of Earth. Love these cards. I would just say as well, for anyone that might be attracted to any of the cards or drawn to any of the cards, there is a page, the link is below, and the runes as well. The link is below in the information box, and there's a page where all of the cards I use are listed with photographs, so you'll be able to find what you're looking for. But remain grounded. Again, you're needing to remain focused. It's as though, I feel as though you've already owned your desires. You know what you're looking for. You know what you want. And I'm going to say particularly in terms of love. But it may be that there is a diversion. It may be that something comes along or something happens to cause you to question, or someone else steps in and causes you to question. But that detour has a purpose. You are being asked to hold your vision. I think the art of manifestation, as far as I can see, we need to hold a clear vision and yet not be so fixed on the route that we plan to take that we are not open to the universe orchestrating around us. So it's a bit like deciding that we meet someone, we see a photograph of someone on a dating site. This is probably a really stupid example I'm going to give, but I'll give it anyway. But it's kind of like if you see someone and you think, oh, that's the one. You know, you read the profile, you look at the photo and you think, oh, they're just amazing. This is the person for me. But you haven't yet even spoken to them. It's kind of like we need to not be so fixed. Even if they sound right, they may be the right person. But actually, it may just be that what they've written in their photograph sparks your passions. But the universe may actually be raising that, bringing that into your attention, because it highlights that the aspects, the qualities of someone you're looking for, that might not be the person. They may be, but they might not be. If we're too fixed and too determined, and then when it turns out we have a conversation and we don't gel at all, and there isn't a spark, we could be hugely disappointed, sign off the dating site and sort of say, oh, you know, there was no one out there for me. That's not true. There is. It's just that it wasn't that person. What that person brought to you in their profile was information that enabled you to get even clearer on your desires. So there's something about some kind of aspect of a provoker, something comes along that causes you possibly to have a wobble. You're being invited to hold your intention, to recognize that any detour is there for you to use. Something, you're being brought further information, and this has purpose. It may be, I use that silly example, but it maybe that is the person, but somehow they don't come back to you very quickly and you think, oh, well, maybe there isn't anything in there. Hold your own intention clear. Remain grounded. There is a need, again, to nurture. It's lovely that we have 2 cards of nurture here. The 7 of Earth is a card of nurture. Keep yourself connected, your higher vision grounded and earthed. We have the snake of transformation sitting in this image. It's really, really beautiful. I'm just going to show that to you. You can see the snake of transformation sits around the neck of this figure here. This is about, for me, this card represents an aspect of our ability to manifest. Now, we have the card of the 9 of Wands, which is interesting because this is almost like a final testing. We have the 2 of Wands, moving forwards. 10 of Swords, you come through this. And the card of Justice, fabulous. Okay, so this is adding a whole new dimension to this part of the reading. And to what I would say the wobble, the detour, whatever it is. It's kind of like, you can see the goal in sight. The 9 of Wands, it's like you can see the shore, you can see the torches bringing you in, but you've kind of got to navigate these waves. There is a purpose to this, and for some of you, whatever is being raised is actually highlighting something within you, like a pattern that causes you to be knocked off balance. And the purpose of raising it is it's like to test your dedication to your desires. Hold your desires. I think you come through this. And the amazing thing here is I think that whatever that inner block, and I think it's a very deep inner block. Now, somebody or something may come in and press a button. Some situation may cause you to feel as though it knocks you off balance. Trust in the divine detour. There's something really quite deep here, some element, even if it's tiny, it goes way back, and there's some element of self-doubt or a lack of belief that something will ultimately manifest. Very much in love, in relationships. This is very much about your direction within relationships. You're being asked to hold your desire. And this is like a final testing. You get to lay it to rest. It's almost as though the detour allows you to remove that one last little piece of insecurity that has stopped you from manifesting that which you desire. Part of this process is that you weigh things up. You evaluate, you learn from the experience. This card of Justice, I love this card. It's an evaluation. It's a moment where it's like we can gain wisdom from our experiences through our ability to rise above a situation, not just to be derailed, but to discover the learning in every experience. Keep yourselves on track. There is the energy of new love around you. There is the potential to manifest that love. Now, whether that's a new phase of love in an existing relationship or whether it is a completely new relationship. One way or the other, there is the energy of new love around you, but there's also some aspect of this final testing, something that causes you to potentially feel knocked off balance, but the purpose of it is to highlight this deep-seated, tiny for some of you, little residue of something from the past that no longer serves you. Astrologically, perfect timing with Saturn and Pluto aligning with one another right now, calling us to let go of anything that we no longer need. We're still in the resonance of the energy of that extraordinary full moon eclipse in Cancer, allowing us to look deeply at anything that no longer serves us. So very much the energy is with you to step into the infinite source of possibility that lies in the future. Growth, fertility. This is the completion. There's some, as I said, for some of you, it really is tiny. It's just like this little flavour of something. I think you've worked and worked and worked. Maybe for some of you, it's a little bit bigger than that, but you understand it already. It's like it's time just to put it to rest. But I think you have a surge of energy that allows you to get back on track. and to evaluate. The moment we lean into the learning from any situation, that enables us to take full ownership of every situation, even those situations that appear to be causing us a delay. And we can use that energy and that learning to recognise that there is purpose and that the universe is orchestrating around us to bring us that which we desire. This is a lovely reading, connecting in with the energy of the full moon. Wonderful people, so much love to you. Welcome to reading number 3. Our first rune is the rune of disruption. This tends to indicate change, freedom, liberation. It's like there's a need to break free from some situation. I always liken the energy of this to Uranus, the planet Uranus, the great awakener. He clears the way to make way for the new. So the rune of disruption, sometimes it indicates that something happens. Sometimes it's outside of us, sometimes it's inside of us to cause an awakening. It can be a sudden event, but it can also be what I would call that slow, gradual kind of coming to your senses, where something happens and then a few months later something else happens and something else happens, and suddenly it's like we see the bigger picture. It's that light bulb moment. But it would indicate that there is a need to break free from something. We have the rune of initiation. Now this is also curious because it's symbolised by the phoenix rising from the ashes, the eagle flying high, holding a greater vision. The rune of initiation speaks of something secret. By secret, it doesn't mean that it's something that's sort of overtly hidden in a deliberate sort of way. It's more than it refers to some aspect of our personal journey that it's deeply, deeply personal and therefore not easily shared. That level of insight, that level of awareness that not everybody will be attuned to. And we have the rune of joy. That's lovely. Now this is a fruit-bearing rune, wonderfully poetic in the book that I studied runes from. It speaks about being carried across the gap by the wings of heaven. I mean, it's a beautiful energy. It's out of darkness into light, new clarity. You come home to yourself in some way. I have to say there is a deeply spiritual flavour in terms of these 3 runes, as if something needs to change. The awareness of that, the full awareness of that, is within you. It's your connection to a higher vision. Lovely, lovely raw energy of that pure unconditional love that comes from spirit. So move our cards over here for a minute and lay them out. Grand Trine, blessings. Well, that's a wonderful, wonderful card to have. Okay, yes, this is, wow. Grand Trine, blessings, air element communicating, Jupiter returns, benefits. Owl spirit, you see clearly now. This is the light bulb moment. This is the awareness. This is the moving through something. Now this is really interesting. Walk away. The need to break free from something, change, liberation, a real need to break away from something. You do see clearly. This is the rune of initiation. Walk away from this situation. When we face a challenging or unhealthy situation, it can be hard to let go and move on. Sometimes we stay in the hope that someone else will change, or perhaps we are so fearful of the unknown that we remain in the safety of a known and yet toxic situation. This card validates your entitlement to leave. Sometimes I tune in to messages. I don't think there's really almost any need for me to be tuning into a message. It's so clear. really. I think you guys really do know where you are. Whether something has happened that is sudden, I'm just realising the runes are not quite, let me just adjust them, they're not quite in camera, I don't think. No, that should be a little bit better. Yes, that's better. The energy here of love is really very clear. It's about self-love, self-respect, self-regard, self-value. It doesn't mean we don't love others or wish them well, but this is about self-love and self-protection. Grand trine blessings, air element communication, Jupiter return benefits. Now, for some of you, what I'm hearing is something sudden has happened that has caused you to see something clearly. For others, genuinely, it's been a sort of gradual process of realization, of awareness. But this reading is very clearly asking you or giving you permission. It's not asking you. We all have the capacity for conscious free will and choice. What we do is up to us. But the message here is clear. You have the right to walk away from a situation that is not actually healthy for you. Really, really interesting. Whatever has happened or whatever things have happened, it may not feel like it, but they are a blessing in disguise. The communication is not simply negotiating with others, it's negotiating with yourself. The benefits are clear. You are being asked to invest in yourselves. Now we have the Seven of Fire. This is a card of intuition, of higher vision. Again, the phoenix rising from the ashes. Having that higher vision, trusting synchronicities, trusting in synchronicities, having a heightened awareness, looking beneath the surface, knowing that your intuition will not lie to you, it's correct. Three of Water. This is really interesting because there's an anticipation. This card says allow things to unfold, allow the outcome to unfold. It speaks again of renewed hopefulness, of the opportunity for renewed hope, renewed excitement, of anticipation. Whatever it is that you are moving away from, it creates new opportunities for you, and it renews the possibility or opens the possibility of renewed hope. And here, the Three of Earth, you are being asked or invited again, the moving through something, trusting your intuition, your insight and awareness give you the opportunity to plant new seeds. Again, invest in yourself, prepare the ground for your own future, honour your desires. You can start to have new ambitions, new hopes, new dreams, but you are needing to walk away from something for that to be possible. But I do think you have a clarity. Let's let's look at the other tarot packs. This is interesting because the King of Cups is quite an ambivalent kind of figure, really, or he can be. But it's curious. For me, let's just tune into what the meaning of this card here. The reason I say ambivalent is because, you see, in a way, this is the card of a counsellor or a psychotherapist. And the reason I say ambivalent, because we'd think, obviously, I was a counsellor for over 26 years. It isn't that we're ambivalent or we don't care. What this card refers to is the way that we can invest in the healing of others without actually healing ourselves. I remember one of the things I used to say to my counselling students was, you may think you've been drawn to this profession because you want to support and help others and heal others. Actually, you've been drawn to this profession because unconsciously, whether you're aware of it or not, you need to heal yourself. And what makes a counsellor a good practitioner, I think, is that recognition. We can walk as far with somebody we can go as deep with someone as we have gone within ourselves, I think. There's something of a parallel there. So this is a card of a counsellor, a psychotherapist. But now for some of you, this will be some aspect of yourself. It will mean you've invested in healing others, looking after the well-being of somebody else at the expense of yourself. That's often what creates toxic situations, we're part of creating that if we find ourselves in it, often because we've already been looking after the other person rather than acknowledging our own needs. So for some of you, that's what this card is representing. For others, it may mean that you've been connected to somebody who actually is a bit ambivalent. They're kind of, they're sort of there, but they're not really there. They can't quite fully commit. And it may be time to move beyond that and recognise that you deserve more. Now we have the Eight of Cups. This suggests that you will leave something behind, or it's certainly an invitation to leave something behind. What's lovely about it is that you do so by choice. We have the card of Strength. This is finding that sense of inner resourcefulness. You know, when you've really invested in something and it doesn't work out, and you can get to a low ebb, or, you know, something doesn't pull through and you think, oh, you know, I wasted all that time. You kind of find that spark of energy that allows you to come through. Again, it speaks of the need. Both of these cards, King of Cups and the card of Strength in this pack, they speak of a need to be able to heal ourselves, not to carry our wounds or allow our historic wounds to get in the way of being able to move forwards and beyond something. The Eight of Cups is a card of choice. And we then have the Page of Pentacles, a lovely card of promise of the future. Again, these so line up with the energy of the runes here: disruption, the Great Awakener, a need for change, the need to break free from something that is holding you back. For some of you, it could be an inner pattern, but to be honest, for a lot of you, what I hear quite clearly, it is actually a very real situation. Somebody or something, some circumstance has been restricting you, and you are being, I think you know that, you see it clearly, whether it's a sudden something or your intuition has told you and you're suddenly realizing your intuition is correct, whether it's some circumstance that suddenly brought something to your attention, or whether you've actually just, I think it's more of a gradual realization that something isn't going to change or someone isn't going to change. Initiation. This is wonderful. The secret aspect of this, the secret matter, is to do with your own growth. It's the fact that you now see clearly. Sometimes we can't share that with others, and we certainly can't spend our lives, what I would say, trying to justify our reasons to someone who isn't able to understand our position. It's like we're wasting our energy. The Rune of Joy, promise, new possibilities, Jupiter return, benefits, new horizons, new opportunities, new vision, planting seeds, investing in yourself, honouring your desires, preparing the ground for your own future. Everything here is a turning point that points to future promise, future prosperity, future joy, clarity, coming out into clarity from a period of darkness. I do think you see clearly. I need to say big respect, because whenever we are called to leave something behind, whether it is a pattern within ourselves, but especially if it's a somebody or a something or a circumstance, that is so, so hard. But in terms of our own growth and walking that true pathway of the spiritual warrior, sometimes we just know that's what we have to do, and circumstances come along. This is the planet of Uranus, or indeed the rune of disruption, the Great Awakener. Circumstances come along to cause us to have to see things clearly. Ultimately, it's because the universe has our back, but it may feel a little bit challenging, and sometimes quite a lot challenging, if we're really honest. The raw energy of unconditional love is there and supporting you. You are called to know that you are not alone. Spirit is around you. The clarity of vision is opening the doorway for a whole new phase of growth for you. Please invest in yourself. This is the energy of self-care in this reading. Wonderful people. So much love to you. My heart is with you. Namaste, and I look forward to seeing you for some other readings. If you haven't checked out the January ones, or indeed the big 2020s, which are in a playlist on the homepage of the AZ Emotional Health YouTube channel, do check them out. The big 2020s will give you a flavour for the coming year. Wonderful people, so much love.